Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Ingles Hayday Auctioneers and we're going to have a look at this very fine and interesting violin by Andrea Amati that is coming up for auction soon. But before we do that, I just want to say if you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing or like or comment in the video because that really does help, and any support would be much appreciated. So yes, we're here on Ingles Hayday. They have this very rare violin by Andrea Amati that has been sold as part of the Norman Rosenberg collection. This particular instrument is being sold on the 6th of June 2023. If you've seen one of my other videos, you will see that they are also selling a Stradivari from that same collection, but in their March auction coming up pretty soon. I'll put a link up on the top kind of right hand corner to that video if you want to have a look at that. So just to recap, basically Norman Rosenberg, a very kind of well known collector and expert from the UK, sadly passed away last year, and his collection is coming up for auction by Ingles Hayday, and amongst the collection is a whole load of extremely fine instruments, lots of fine Italian instruments, Cremonese, Milanese, all types of kind of fine Italian instruments, Venetian, etc. So all sorts of interesting stuff. But one of the most interesting instruments, other than the Stradivari that I've already done a video on, is this particular instrument, a previously undocumented violin by Andrea Amati, regarded by most as the father of the Cremona school of violin making, and possibly the father of the modern violin family of instruments as we know today. Obviously, there's a bit of kind of additional assistance there from the Brescian school of makers. There's a bit of an overlap, but in terms of the modern school of violin making, it tends to filter down from the Cremonese school, from Andrea Amati being the first member of the Amati family to be making this family of instruments. So before we kind of get into looking at this instrument in a bit more detail, this is a very short video. We're just going to read a bit of the blurb here from John Dilworth on the Ingles Hayday website. So they're just saying here, a venerable Andrea Amati, previously unrecorded instrument, enormously valuable additions to the catalogue. To discover one more Andrea Amati to add to the mere 20 or so known examples is exceptionally significant. So there we go. So this is an extremely rare violin of arguably the father of the modern violin family. So this is a very significant instrument for certain. This particular violin is made on Andrea's smaller model, with modest materials. What's interesting about this, and we'll see this when we go back to the other pages, that the Dendro report is one of the oldest, has come up with one of the oldest violin woods so far, with some of the spruce used coming from the 13th century. So that is really quite fascinating. One thing they say here is that the scroll unfortunately is not original, but it's a fascinating violin, and distinctive aspects of Cremonese violin making are kind of present on that particular instrument. So it is all very curious, and we obviously, through the lineage of Cremonese violin making, through the other Amati families, through the Guarneri family, through the Stradivari family, and all of the other families in Cremona, Bergonzi, etc. I'm going to miss many important families, but there are quite a few. We see the tradition of the Cremonese violin making evolve. So anyway, let's have a look at this instrument itself. So it's lot 193. This is a June sale, June the 6th. This is a violin by Andrea Amati, Cremona, circa 1575. Andrea Amati was born at the beginning of the 16th century and died towards the end of the 16th century. The head is later. It's unlabelled. Length of back is 35.4 centimeters, which is quite reasonable. A dendro analysis of the front of this violin shows one of the oldest tree rings ever recorded, dating from 1297. That really is quite incredible. As with the Strad video, you can request a condition report. I'm not sure if they would actually give me one for this instrument. Maybe. The estimate is extremely low, 40 to 60,000 pounds. That really seems extremely low. I'm sure it will go for way more than that. I don't even know when the last time an Andrea Amati violin went to auction. It's something that I really should look up. But this has got to be a very rare violin indeed. I'm very interested to see kind of how this does at auction. Bit of a jump cut because I just had to check. So the last time one was sold via auction, so we're not sure about private sale prices, but via auction was 1991, and it sold for £25,000. So I'm very interested to see how this goes. This surely must go in excess of 100,000. It must do. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Very interesting. Anyhow, that's enough of me rambling about this. Let's just have a look at the instrument itself. Let's see if we can kind of get the pictures blown up and just see what's here. I'll put all the links in the description and everything as usual. So let's scroll up from the top of the headstock there, or top of the scroll, sorry. Looks like very good quality of photography here, so we can see quite a lot of cracks here. Some looks like potentially some replaced wood fillets, fillets here. You can definitely see that something is gone on. Interesting grain patterns here. Interesting purfling, some other cracks. This is by no means a formal assessment of the instrument. I think you should ask for the condition report. See, still quite a nice scroll, even though it's not original. You can see the soundpost crack here, but you would expect that on a 16th century violin. I think it'd be pretty unusual if you didn't. We've lost some edges there, some other cracks coming up, so it definitely needs a bit of TLC there. Let's have a look at the scroll, even though the scroll is not original. Be interesting to know if anyone could figure out perhaps who did make that scroll. You can see the neck graft here looks a little bit precarious there. I wonder if that needs to be redone. I'm sure that there's someone has like a Andrea Amati scroll somewhere in a drawer, so maybe that'll be the next port of call for the owner. So let's have a look at this. Interesting rib structure there. You see a few cracks and things. Once again, as expected for the age. Nice kind of side profile views. Really quite an elegant instrument. Very beautiful. I really like the F holes. I think they're very interestingly cut. And then a image of the back. You can really see the wear on that scroll. It'll be interesting to know kind of how old they think that scroll is. You can see the cracks here. That one does look quite open. See some other heavy wear there, so see that kind of inlet bit of wood there. A really nice edge work. So yeah, really amazing photos here on Ingles and Hayday. I've kind of rambled on quite a bit on this, but just to say, to summarize, this is an extremely rare violin by the founding father of the Cremonese violin school, and arguably the founder of the modern violin family of instruments as we know today. Obviously, as we've said, there were other makers in Brescia also working along similar paths, and the exact dates of things are a little bit kind of difficult to know, but certainly a lot of the modern violins and their influence via Cremona is strong, and Andrea Amati being the founding father of that movement, so it makes it a very important instrument indeed. So I'll put a link in the description. As always, check it out, see what you think. Have a look at the other videos I have about the undocumented Stradivari violin, and also the Norman Rosenberg collection, the news article. I'll be doing full catalogues, overviews of this sale a little bit closer to the time. I'll do the one for March fairly soon, and I won't do the one for June for a little while, but definitely check it out and see what you think, because I think it's a really fascinating auction, and this is a really beautiful instrument. So thanks a lot for watching as always, and take care, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.